And we are live. Welcome, welcome everyone. Stephanie Lucrecio coming to you live with my beautiful friends, Pamira Besman. Welcome. We're so excited to be here with you today. So we have been very involved with our New Jersey gubernatorial election, really trying to involve our grassroots community, make sure that people are educated and aware of where we are in the process and what action steps we need to take to get to the finish line and to make sure that we remove Murphy from office and that we replace him with someone that is for the people, by the people, that hears our voices and wants to make sure that we are accurately represented in Trenton. So we've been working very, very hard. And one of the things that Pamira and I discussed over the weekend is the importance of having your voice heard in the primary elections. Many people are registered as independent or they're registered and affiliated with the party that no longer represents where they are today in the world. And while that doesn't matter necessarily in a general election, it absolutely matters in a primary election. So I'm going to turn it over to Pamira. Pamira, let's talk a little bit and educate people about the differences with a primary election versus a general election.
Yes. So, hello everyone. Welcome. The general elections are where anybody and everybody can vote, as long as you're legally able to vote. Now, things have changed a little bit over the past year because people who were not legally supposed to be voting also voted. So let's just leave that aside for now. That elephant in the room can just sit on that side. We'll talk in our little corner here the way it's supposed to be. But if you're affiliated or non-affiliated, if you're independent, libertarian, left, right, whatever, you can vote in the general elections and you can vote for anybody you want, regardless of who you're voting for and what your previous affiliation is. In the primaries, however, the primary purpose is for that dedicated group of Republicans or for that dedicated affiliated group of Democrats to pick their leading candidate to go into the final race. So it's basically like a race amongst the family members, if you will, if you want to think of it that way, of the affiliate group picking their best horse for the race. So if you are looking to advance a Republican candidate versus another Republican candidate into the general elections, you must first vote for them in the primaries as a registered Republican. If you're not a registered Republican, you cannot vote to determine what Republican is going to get into the race. The same thing applies for Democrats. Now, there is another Democratic candidate in the race running against Phil Murphy. So if you want to choose between Phil Murphy versus the other candidate to see which one needs to go into the primaries as the Democratic leading candidate, then you should be voting in the primaries as a Democrat. Now, that's only possible if you're registered as a Democrat, or if you're voting for the Republican candidate, you must be registered as a Republican. So if you're non-affiliated or if you're affiliated with the wrong party, you cannot vote in the primary for that particular candidate. So let's just get that out of the way. So that's first things first, you have to choose. Are you feeling compelled enough to do something in the primaries for either of the sides? There are only two parties, by the way, that are eligible for being in the primaries.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because I was registered an independent when I first moved to New Jersey. I was a Democrat my entire life. I was a registered Democrat. I, voted Democrat many times in previous elections. And moving to New Jersey, I feel like as you grow and evolve, you kind of change and different issues become different, a higher importance level. And obviously issues are what prompt voting, because in order to create change, you vote for candidates that align with your issues and have the same opinions. So when I moved to New Jersey back 3 years ago almost, I registered as an independent because I really wasn't sure where I lied. Like, I had some Republican views, some Democratic views, so I kind of put myself in the middle. And I found out after all the stuff that happened in Trenton that if I wanted to vote in the primary, if I was an independent, I wasn't going to have my voice heard. And that prompted me immediately to take action. And given what we've been through here in New Jersey and given what's happening all over the world, I've obviously had to reestablish myself as a Republican based on what I now know about medical freedom and how important this issue is for me and my family. So if you're a registered independent, I know that it's a big decision to declare an affiliation, but it is so important right now that you pick a side. Unfortunately, this is the way our government is structured, and it's Republican, Democrat, red, blue. Like, this is just how it is. So we have to play the game if we want to make sure that the right candidate gets on the ballot for the general election. So if you're not currently registered and you're kind of riding that middle, you need to declare. If you're a Democrat and you're in medical freedom, I'm going to say things right now, and some of you may not like the things that I'm saying, but I keep it real, and I think that it's really important to stay there. Democrats, it is basically an abusive relationship that we're in right now for the most part. We have some shining examples of what it is to not ride party lines here in New Jersey, Jamel and some other people that have, shown themselves as really wanting to hear the people. But for the most part, the Democrats here in New Jersey and all across the country are attacking our medical freedom. The vaccine passport initiative is coming from Democrats. If you are interested in preserving your right to choose what enters your body and what enters the body of your children, if you want that bodily autonomy and you want your freedom, and you're still registered as a Democrat, I ask you why. Why, God, why? And sometimes you have to make the hard choices and let go of previous affiliations to be able to welcome in the changes that you wish to see in the world. So if you're currently registered as a Democrat and you were in Trenton with me and Pamira, I encourage you to rethink your affiliation and to take action promptly before April 14th to register yourself as a Republican so you can have a voice in the primary. And if you're not paying attention to what's happening in the primary, I speak to so many people that don't even know who's running for governor against Phil Murphy. You need to know. You need to know what's happening in New Jersey. Pamira, were you ever a political person?
No, not at all. I donated to Obama. I donated to Sanders back in my Democratic days. And that was the extent of all I understood of politics, that I was fed this narrative from NPR that I thought these were the guys who were honest and who were going to bring change and who were going to do things for the people. And I donated to them, and then I just sat back and waited for good things to happen. And then I was realizing after I became a mom and we started getting into this medical freedom fight, basically to save our children's lives, I'm like, well, what's going on here? Aren't all these people that we voted for supposed to do the right things for us? And what's going on?
Yep.
And so we're all learning. This is all new to us. And some of our affiliations, I was a Democrat because for some odd reason, I thought that that's the bucket I was in, and it was a part of the narrative, right? The way that the Republican Party was portrayed as this old white man's club of, they all pat each other in the back and they take your money and evil, bad, old white men. And I'm like, great, but I'm looking at what the Democratic agenda is. It's completely against what the people are. It's completely pitting people against people, constantly taking away our rights, constantly making us worse off, and constantly being in a situation where we need handouts from the government, and as if the government is going to save us from our slavery that the government put us into in the first place. So I'm like, none of it is making sense anymore. I need to relook at why I was a Democrat. And what are my core values? Forget about Democrat, Republican, whatever. Maybe I'm not actually fitting into any of those buckets. But if we want change to happen in the election, we need to get involved in the election within the parameters that the system allows us. So right now, the two leading groups basically are the Democrats and the Republicans. So people may feel like none of them is 100% overlap with my values. None of them is completely honest and sincere. Both of them are corrupt. I think we need to put that on the table as well. We have to call a spade, and that is accurate. There's corruption on both sides. There's swamp on both sides. There is establishment on both sides, and we need to recognize that the more we keep supporting establishment candidates from either side, we're pushing the same train forward. So this is one of the reasons Stephanie and I are so enthusiastic right now, because it's like a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to actually get behind non-establishment options. So this is not a fundraiser call or a political candidate, particular political candidate call. So we don't need to go into it too much in detail. But there is an obvious choice in New Jersey where these primaries are going to be huge.
Absolutely.
Right? Shall we talk a little bit about, like, first of all, everybody, are you even registered? Like, first of all, go to this link, am I registered? And look, are you registered or not? Get involved. You have to get involved. Nobody else is going to kick Murphy out of there. Murphy is not going to leave on his own. The forces that placed him there and supported him there are not going to go in and pluck him out. He's an implant. He's there for a particular purpose. He's accomplishing his goals very well. So if we, the people, want to get our lives back, we need to get involved and engaged. And if you want to do it through legal ways, so you don't have to like strap on your ammo and your rifles and go out on the streets to defend your rights a year from now when they come to your door, do it now within the system while you can.
I just posted the MRF link, so you can go on that and you can check to see if you're actually registered as a Republican or a Democrat. And then we're going to share our screen so you could see if you're registered as one or you're registered as an independent. There is an online submission. You do not even need to leave your house. So for those of you that aren't sure, don't wait. Take the time right now with us to do this. If you have questions, we can answer them real time for you. The deadline is April 14th. The primary is in June. Is it June 3rd or June 4th?
June, I think 8th is the primary.
8th. Okay, well, I was close. It's in June. My brain, if it's not written down, I don't remember anything. So if you go in right now, check to see if you're registered. Once you know your registration, who you're affiliated with, then you need to decide if that affiliation accurately represents who you want to support in the primary. Because the truth is that going into the primary is just as important as going into the general election. Like Pamira said, we get to choose the horse that we want to put our attention behind going against Murphy in the general election. If you're registered as an independent, you cannot, yes. Okay, so Kalina, welcome. And yes, if you are registered as an independent or an unaffiliated, you cannot vote in the primary. You have to declare a party in order to be able to vote in the election. We just posted the link. Pamira actually just posted it, and I posted a comment with all of them. The ticker running across the bottom of the screen also gives you the link that you can go on. There is an online submission form that you can utilize. It's voter.svrs.nj.gov/register. So you can take a look at that link. You go on right there. It's an online submission, and you can do everything on the line, change your affiliation. You have to do so by April 14th in order to be able to get your primary ballot and to vote. So it's something you need to do today because it's already April 12th today, right? So
right.
We have 48 hours to get everyone transitions over. Let's do it right now. We're going to share our screen.
So
now,
the beauty, I previously had shared like some manual ways of doing it. There's a form you can go and print out, and then you can actually either mail that form or bring it in person to your county elections office. But that's going to take a few days in the making. And when I called the office, I was able to get the direct link. So the beauty of the direct link is that it will register you if you're not previously registered. And the same link also works to change your affiliation if you're already registered as something else, but you forgot what you are, whatever it is. This link that Stephanie just shared that says online submission, that one it's so quick and easy. Literally takes 30 seconds. If you're slow, it's 1 minute, not more than that, and you're done. All you need is your driver's license or social security number, whichever identification you want to use as proof of your being yourself. And you just click one of the boxes, make sure you check the correct party that you want to be affiliated with. And it's also instantaneous on the part of the election office. So as soon as you put that in the system, it reflects onto their system, and then in a couple of days you get this in the mail. That's a confirmation. It should come from your county superintendent of elections, a confirmation with a barcode that your change has gone through. They don't necessarily know if it's a change or a confirmation or an affirmation, but whatever you put it in as comes back to you as like confirmed. So do it soon so that tomorrow you can go back into the system and confirm that it actually stuck. And then if it didn't for whatever reason, you still have another day to take action and correct it or do another online form or call them up.
Yeah, and the thing about it is so many people are not getting involved in the primaries. I heard the numbers and I don't remember them, forgive me, but it's such a small amount of people that are voting in the primaries. It is so important to be involved in your local elections. And this doesn't just have to do with gubernatorial. It has to do with Senate races, all the Senate seats in New Jersey, the Assembly seats, all of these very important key people that are going to be creating legislation that we're going to have to live with in the state are up for grabs this year. So if you're not having your voice heard in the primary, voting on the national, level with national elections is obviously important as well. But a lot of things come down to local levels. And this vaccine passport issue looks like it's going to be a local state thing to decide. So if the wrong person is governor in 2021, once this election is over, we're in big trouble here in New Jersey. And I promise you, the only reason that this issue of vaccine passports right now in New Jersey is not prominent is because it's an election year, and they're not stupid. They're not going to bring up an issue that they know is extremely, extremely polarizing and controversial at this point in time going into an election year. So it's quiet here in New Jersey. And don't allow that silence to lull you into a false sense of security, because in no way, shape, or form is our battle that we started in Trenton over. It's on pause right now. If the wrong people take ownership of those seats going into 2022, I can promise you that the shit is going to hit the fan in New Jersey. And we're going to be back in New Jersey, in Trenton, except with virtual things like we're seeing in Connecticut. Connecticut is fighting for their lives right now to maintain their religious exemption. And the scary thing is what we created in New Jersey, that force field of the building shaking and people screaming and holding the legislators' feet to the fire with this new world of Zoom. These people are sitting home in their living rooms by their fire, drinking tea. They have no idea what's going on. There's no way to recreate that same urgency and that same fire that we created in Trenton. So it's a much different landscape post-COVID. So these elections become more important now than they ever were before. So I beg you, I'm urging you, if you don't know if you're registered, please get to know what you are, who your elected officials are, get to know the conversations that are important. This is a vital part of preserving our medical freedoms. If you're not involved in this conversation, you are missing a huge part of the pie. And like I said, both Pamira and I, we became involved with politics out of necessity. It was not a choice. It was not something I wanted to do. I still can't believe that I'm having these conversations, but you get educated very quickly when you need to. There was a question.
Ask you some questions?
Yes, my driver's license is still from New York. Can I still do it?
Yes, you can still do it. So just put your social security number instead. You do have an address in New Jersey, right? So you must have an address in New Jersey. And then instead of putting your driver's license, you can put your social security number as your identifier. I'm only saying that because I don't know if there is a discrepancy, if your ID is issued by another state, if that creates an issue or not. So just to be safe, you're a New Jersey resident, just use either a New Jersey state issued ID or your social, and that should make sure it's safe,
Absolutely. Liat, if you have questions, you can always call me. You have my number, so just let me know and we can troubleshoot it together. But she does have an address in New Jersey, so that should work. So check that out. If you have any challenges, please let me know. I I had the same thing when I moved. Yay, Shannon is registered Republican. Thank you for letting me know. I'm very excited about this. We have a couple of people that posted that they're registered Republicans. So this is powerful. What we've been able to do in these last couple of weeks, the efforts that we've created, the grassroots movement is getting lots of attention because we're proving ourselves to be a powerful force to be reckoned with. And that continues going into the primary. So if you want your voice to be heard in the primaries, these are necessary action steps that you need to take today. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Do not think about it. April 14th is a deadline. If you don't meet that deadline, your voice is not heard in the primaries. And that is tragic.
So let's talk about that. When your voice isn't heard, what happens? Because somebody is going to determine the outcome of these primaries.
Yep.
So right now there are 4 Republican candidates. So I'm not even going to talk about the Democratic candidates because right now I think it's pretty clear to me that the Democratic establishment is not able to get us out of this ditch. So there's no reason for me at all to vote in the primaries as a Democrat. Either one of them will be bad. So primarily speaking, obviously, Murphy needs to get out. So, and I'm also looking at, where are my values best supported? Right now, my values are best supported by the Republican candidates that we have. So I must make this choice. So first of all, separate yourself from that past identity crisis. Like if you've always identified as a Democrat, you are for gay rights and you support all of the platforms. You want immigrants to come to this land and enjoy the fruits of America. Whatever the Democratic platforms have been over the years that we have been drawn to because we felt a connection with those narratives. Like those are not going away by you declaring yourself a Republican. No one's banning abortion in New Jersey if we have a Republican candidate in Trenton. No one's banning immigration. Like no one's turning life upside down in that way that they scare you. If you vote Republican, all these democratic values you hold are going to be ruined. So that is, first of all, not accurate. And then let's look at what happens if you don't vote in the primaries. Someone is going to make the decision of which candidate is going to run. And then your values don't matter anymore because it's going to be based on what that candidate is, X candidate versus Phil Murphy. And do you not want to have a say in that? I want to have a say in that. I want to have a say in what candidate is running against Phil Murphy. Because honestly, if a conniving, lying, misrepresenting, establishment-sounding candidate is running against Murphy, I am not compelled at all to go to the polls and vote at all. What does that mean? That Murphy will win again. What makes me feel fire in my belly to go and vote? What makes me feel fire is the opportunity, the option, the dream, the hope that my vote can make a difference. And if my vote can make a difference, my vote needs to first be heard in the primary so I choose the right candidate that gives me hope and all those things that are going to put the fire in my belly to take the next action. So get involved now. The primaries are thought of as like an aftermath, but I'm telling you, in our situation right now, today in 2021, the primaries are the priority. People tell me, oh, you have to be nice to all the candidates, whatever. I'm nice to everyone, but I also have to be honest. And they need to be honest with us too. And they need to be sincere about where they stand, what they stand for. Just give it to us straight so we can make good choices for our families.
Absolutely. And the conversation should be happening now. Like this is the time to build the relationships with every single person that's running for governor, with people in your district. Like my district Senate seat is up, and one of the people that's running, Andrew Zwicker, I do not want him in a Senate seat because his votes show that he's not on my side. So I'm working in my district. You need to be involved in your district. you need to also be involved in what's happening with the governor, because the governor is the executive branch of government here in New Jersey. And we've seen what happens when the wrong person gets his ballpoint pen and is signing executive order after executive order for the last year and month or whatever it is, 13 months now. What was it? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It's been 13 months. Yeah. So we see what happens. So I want to share screen quick because we have a hard stop in like 10 minutes. So I want to make sure that we get to all of the details. Someone was saying that the website is not easy to navigate. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. The online submission form, once you figure out if your party is declared, if you're already Republican, you're good, you're done, you don't need to do anything else. If you are a Democrat and you wish to change that, or you are an independent and you wish to affiliate yourself with a particular party, the website that is running across the ticker on the bottom, the one that I've posted, is the one that we're now going to share the screen with so you can see exactly what you have to do. So hold on.
By the way, that link is working. I just clicked on it. That's where I did my registration. So please make sure you're getting the link correctly from both ends.
Yes. Okay. So hold on a second. Let me go. All right. So.
All right. So just do the one that says online submission available. That starts with the voter SVRS because that's the direct link.
Okay. That's the one that I'm on. Is that it? Am I on the right one? Can you see? Because I can't see you.
No, this is one of the other ones.
It is? Hold on one second.
Okay.
Hold on.
If I put it in the private chat, can you take it from there?
Okay, just it right here.
Okay. Yeah, because I provided some other links where you can go get the information if you want to reach out to your county officials, etc. Okay, that is it. Voter registration application. So this link that we provided to you, that's on the ticker, is the direct link. You don't have to snoop around, look for other links. It's a one-step direct link.
Can you see it? Hold on, I'm gonna just.
It looks like your screen went back out again.
Yeah, I'm making a full screen so you can see. Okay.
There you go. Okay, so this is it. If you just scroll down a little bit, you click on Get Started, and then this is it. I certify and attest that the following statements are true, that you're a U.S. citizen, New Jersey resident, 17 years of age. And then you move on. You put in your name, your date of birth and gender. You pick either driver's license or state ID card or social security number. And then the details of your ID. And put in your residence. This is also important if your address has changed and you don't remember it. So this will also update your existing records. So if you had any funny business happen in the past year, you didn't receive your voter papers, you didn't receive your ballot or whatever, this is a good way to just refresh everything and set you clean and fresh in the system with the most up-to-date information. And then you don't need to check this assister. That's if like somebody else is helping you do this form. And then that's it. You just submit.
Perfect. Excellent. Let me come back. I'm coming back. Dutch.
Come back.
Yay, we did something new. It's good stuff. All right. So that is what you're going to do. So it's easy. It's simple. I'm going to repost the link yet again. The link is good. I just used it. So just make sure that you're copying and pasting it the right way. I just posted the link by itself. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Have all of your information available. If you don't feel comfortable putting your social security number through the computer, you can use your driver's license. So it gives you a couple of different options. This is an immediate action item. Like as soon as we're done with this, go and do it because we know we're so busy with all the things of life. As soon as this is over and you go about your day, you're going to forget. And it's so important. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for everybody who's been engaged in this really important conversation. If you want to know more about how to get involved, how to be part of this conversation, you can definitely text Revolution to 33777. I send out all different types of action items and things that get shadow bans here on Facebook, events that are coming up with political candidates that are of interest. So definitely put that in. I will be sharing some things coming up soon in the next couple of weeks. If you have not gotten to any of these meet and greets with the candidates who are running for governor, with the candidates who are running in your district, I encourage you to go out there and build those relationships. There should be absolutely no fear in having conversations with people who are running for governor or Senate or assembly. They are public servants who are there for constituents. Without constituents' voices, the only voices they hear in their ears are those of political lobbyists that have an agenda that have absolutely nothing to do with we the people. So if you're not having these important conversations, like I've said before, when we were in the Battle of Trenton, if you're hiding behind your computer in silence, you're actually part of the problem and not part of the solution. If you are quietly sitting behind waiting for someone else to represent your voice and have these conversations, it's kind of the same thing. Your voice needs to be lent to the efforts of protecting our families, our children, our basic human fundamental rights that are under attack at all angles that you could possibly imagine. And the only thing that stands between vaccine passports and the state of New Jersey is we the people. So if that's not something that you're a yes for, get involved. Make sure that you're a registered Republican, that your voice is heard in the primaries. And Pamira and I will be definitely coming back to you with updates and things that are going on. Reach out to both of us. We are actively engaged and involved and doing this work every single day. So we're happy to help. And as always, Pamira, like, we didn't even know each other 2 years ago. And she has become one of my dearest friends. So I always say to people, you are never alone in this journey. And for every single family member, friend, or person that you used to feel so close to that drops off because you don't share the same value system anymore, new people show up all the time. And there is nothing better than being surrounded by like-minded, like-hearted people who share your passion and your values and can hold you up and support you when things feel really tough. So I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I love you.
I love you. Thank you. The gratitude is both ways. I appreciate you so much, and everybody else in this movement. We are really one giant tribe now, and it's just getting stronger every day. And it's just so amazing. It gives me hope every morning. There's one question we didn't get to address. People are concerned about election fraud, and what are we going to do to stop it this year? That's a whole other conversation. Stay tuned. There are ways we can get involved. We need to do some more digging. You need to call your county election offices, volunteer. We need to be boots on the ground, physically there, defending the ballot boxes, making sure that we vote by paper as much as possible. But that's a whole other topic we need to dive into. But it will come down to the people defending their votes. Because those who are wanting to steal our votes are not going to allow us, the system, to do that. We have to do it against their will. So it's going to take some strategizing, getting involved, boots on the ground, but stay tuned. Keep that in your mind. That's next steps. We will come back to you with more on that.
And I want to just say one thing before we close. The bill in Trenton was supposed to pass. They do not put bills on the agenda that are not supposed to pass. So if we go into this election with broken thoughts and a feeling of defeat before we've even lost, we've already lost. We need to go into this from a powerful place of demanding election integrity, of having our voices heard, and actually rolling up our sleeves as constituents here in New Jersey and making sure that we cross all our T's and dot all our I's to make sure that everything is as it should be. The only way that that happens is if we demand that it be so and we get involved in this conversation. So if you're sitting home complacent and just complaining about how unfair the election was and you're not doing anything to change it, start to take action. Daily, consistent action, little things make a huge difference. So for all of you that have already gone in, that are posting that you changed your affiliation, that you're registered as a Republican, thank you so much for taking action. Share this video. Make sure that you're enlightening all of your friends who have similar values and interests and are concerned about vaccine passports. This is our time to have our voices heard. Republicans are the ones that are going to stop these vaccine passports, so we need to make sure that we can support them, that we can vote for them, that we're donating to the campaigns of those people. we are making a huge difference. So let's continue to show up, stand up, rise up, and be the change that we wish to see in the world. We are making such a huge difference, and we could not do it without all of you. So thank you so much for tuning in, for taking action, and for being part of our amazing tribe. We love you.
Thank you so much. Peace and blessings.
Bye.